Fellas, AC here. Hope you're doing well. Habit Rouge EDP versus EDT. Now, Habit Rouge is one of my absolute favorite fragrances. EDT, I've done a full review. This was released in 1965, so it's pretty old. Well, 54 years. Now, I have been wearing this fragrance for the last few years. Can't remember how long ago, but quite a few years. So recently I got a sample of Habit Rouge EDP from my friend in India, Rohit. He sent it to me. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have thought about this question, which one to get. So I hope to answer that question today. So what I did was, I've given it a fair few wearings, and this is, I think, a 5 ml decant. So I've come to the conclusion, but what I've done is I've not sprayed Habit Rouge EDT on my left hand because this is very strong. And I've noticed when I'm trying to do a side-by-side comparison, I almost always get confused. And I couldn't tell which from which is the first sort of a hint. So let's start with Habit Rouge EDT because I know that fragrance like the back of my hand. Now, EDT has a very prominent lemon and a very prominent leather. Okay, so when it starts off smelling of like a lemony sandalwood, along with hints of vanilla and a prominent rose. So it's very fougere-like smell. It has a very beautiful rose, and it just creates an impression of very classy, gentlemanly fragrance. Mostly, I would call this a barbershop-like scent, because there's this presence of rose, there's no lavender, but there's oak moss in the base. But the most amazing thing about EDT is the journey. It's a beautiful olfactory journey. So that's how the scent is. I'll go into more details as I go along in this video. So when I was doing this comparison a few weeks ago, I thought to myself, how many times have you actually seen a remake of a classic movie? Now, one of my favorite ones happens to be The Italian Job by Michael Caine. Now, back in 2003, they released a movie called The Italian Job, and it was, I think, Mark Wahlberg, Charlize Theron. When I saw that movie, I knew the story. I still enjoyed it because they used the new modern mini cars. But somehow, after watching the movie, I thought that the 1960s Italian Job is still my favorite because of Michael Caine and his acting. This comparison video, or this comparison idea, kind of gave me that impression. So I'll tell you why I still think the EDT will be a better scent, at least in my opinion. Now, I've explained to you how it opens. The EDP opens with a soapy vanilla and lemon. So I sprayed it about 15-20 minutes ago, and it smells very modern. There is no carnation, there's a prominent carnation note, there's no leather, and there is no feel of that oak moss, which all of those things can be a negative for the EDT because it smells like a 60s fragrance. Sorry about the police sirens. Now, when I tried the EDP, I felt as if I'm smelling a true flanker, men's flanker to Shalimar, right? And that's because of the prominent vanilla. Now, when this fragrance matures through the middle stages, this one loses the sandalwood and the leather comes up, and depends on which weather you're wearing, the EDT brings in the leather and the lemon a bit more prominently. If it's winter time, the vanilla comes up a bit more, but the rose is always there. The prominent rose presence is always there. It's a very beautifully made fragrance. EDP is similar, but it smells as if it's a modern take on a classic fragrance. This was released in 2003. And I believe both these fragrances have been through reformulations in 2014. So this is more like a rosy vanilla fragrance, yeah? So rosy vanilla with hints of lemon. This is how it comes across. When it goes in the dry down, it really veers off in the direction of an oriental. The spices that I smell are cinnamon, little touch of cloves, and the soapy vanilla turns into a little bit of a gourmandy dry vanilla. It still doesn't smell as if it's a vanilla taken from Shalimar. And of course, this is Guerlain. Guerlain are famous for the most amazing vanilla fragrances you can think of. So obviously, there's a beautiful vanilla scent. So you know, olfactory journey wise, this is more complex. This is slightly more one-dimensional in terms of this rosy lemony vanilla. Yeah, there's more in more enjoyment in the EDT, if you like. So that's the development of the scent. This scent, in my book, is a masculine with classy sophistication, but it's very screechy. Initially, the lemon is very, very strong. So this is basically a very loud scent if you don't control the number of sprays. This is not loud. Yeah, the EDP is more refined, more subdued, but one-dimensional. That's the thing which will go against people who like complex fragrances. This is also more expensive. So the EDT would be 25 to 30 pounds. This would be probably 40 pounds and upwards, at least in the UK. I'll put the links from Amazon in the video. You can check it out. Now, this also has this development, which is very subtle development. Both these fragrances it's a long journey. Both have similar sort of performance, but the developments in the EDP are less noticeable unless you wear it a lot, and it's basically a trail scent. So you have to sit down and think about this, let it waft towards you, or wear it under your shirt and let it waft, and then you have to think about it. The noticeable differences in the EDT. So that's the other difference, in terms of composition quality, it's more interesting. The EDT is more interesting, provided you like classic men's fragrances. So that's the thing. In terms of age groups, see, this has been modernized. So if you are into vanilla, if you are into floral, soapy vanilla scents, and you want something safer, then this is going to suit the younger generation, 25 plus. If you really want to wear something complex and you don't care whether it smells dated, if you don't care about compliments, then you should go with the EDT. There's another thing about the EDT. This is a magic scent, right? Once you start wearing it after a few sprays or few ml, this will soon become one of your most sought after masculine fragrances, any weather. The EDP might do so. In my opinion, the EDP will do well in cooler weather. The EDT does well in all weather. You can wear the EDT in any weather. But because of that vanilla, because of that rose, because of that soapiness, when you crave a slightly brighter scent in winter, the EDP probably will be quite an easy pick, if you like. So, marks out of 10. See, for me, Habit Rouge is very close to 10 out of 10. Yeah, you really can't beat Habit Rouge EDT in terms of quality, composition complexity, versatility, the sex appeal, whatever you want, whatever criteria you want to put against the EDT, you really can't beat this. The only one thing is it can smell dated to some people because of that carnation and because of that proper fougere-like smell. Barbershop fragrances may not be everybody's cup of tea. So 9 out of 10 to the EDT. Now the EDP, I'm slightly biased because I'm so enamored by the EDT. I really like that smell. So I'm slightly biased towards the EDT. I'm going to give this an 8. Still a very good scent, but less complex, less interesting, and less versatile. Yeah, and slightly one of those fragrances which I did not feel like getting a bottle. Since I have the EDT, I don't feel like going and getting the EDP bottle, but that may not be the case with you. So 8 out of 10, very nice scent, very well made, very modernized, but still the classic formula, although reformulated in 2014, is still more interesting to my nose. Hope this helps, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.